How many of you are hearing me tonight for the first time? Is anybody here tonight hearing me for the first time? Okay, thank you. Let me poll the audience right quick so I know how to talk with sensitivity. Do I have any Christians in the room tonight? Okay, thank you. Good. 1, 2, anyone else? Thank you. Okay, good. I need to know this so that when I speak tonight, I'll be mindful of who's present so I can speak with accurate sensitivity. Follow what I'm saying? All right, any Muslims in the room tonight? Okay, good. Thank you. All right, any Nawabians in the room? Somebody said, what's that? Okay, all right. Any Hebrew Israelites in the room tonight? Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you, I usually go through that poll before I start speaking, but let me tell you what I see in front of me. All I see in front of me are Africans. You y'all hear what I'm saying? I don't see Christians or Muslims or Hebrew Israelites or Nubians or Baptists or Pentecost. All I see are Africans, my brothers and my sisters. Okay? And I love all of y'all. I love you because you are part of me. You are my family. You follow me? Having said that, can y'all see what it says here? If you can, read it with me. The space inside this circle represents my realm of knowledge. All that I think I know about whatever I think I know is depicted right here within this circle. I must keep in mind that there's more to know than what is within the circumference of my awareness. Did y'all get that? Yes. Now, the reason why I start my lectures off with this, brothers and sisters, is because, and believe me, I'm going to say something tonight that somebody's not going to like. Okay? And the reason why I'm going to do that is because I must step outside of your circle of awareness. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It simply means that you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay? So when that happens, and if I can feel in my spirit that I'm stepping outside of your circumference of comfort, your realm of comfort, your circumference of awareness, I will say, hold up your circle now. Hold up your circle because I'm getting ready to go there on you. To try to prepare you that I'm getting ready to say something that I know you ain't gonna fit just because of what we've been taught. Am I clear? Okay, good. See, that's my job as a teacher. As a teacher, if I only say what you already know, then I'm not teaching you anything. You understand? Okay. Having said that, why do I stand and talk? In a nutshell, it's real simple right here. To begin the process of undoing and reversing ideas and concepts that have been programmed to the minds of our people by religious statements and church doctrines that have caused us to adopt what, y'all? A belief system, right? A belief system that has resulted in our loss of contact with what is real, what is factual, what is historical, and what is spiritual. Do you understand what I'm saying so far? Do you understand what I'm saying so far? Okay, see, in other words, I'm trying to get away from the belief systems. People ask me now, Brother Ray, so what do you believe? I say it ain't about belief no more with me. Because if we want to start talking about what do you believe, we'll be here till the end of next, who knows when. Because you can't prove belief. Did y'all hear what I said? You can't prove belief. That's why it's belief. You can't prove it. So you choose to believe it. Everybody repeat after me. When you know a thing, you don't have to believe it. Got me? When you know, you don't need belief. If you don't know, then you have to resort to belief. You follow me? Okay, so when it comes to religion, it's full of beliefs. That's why every church you go to, man, their doctrinal statement says, we believe, da-da-da-da-da. We believe, da-da-da-da-da. No more time for belief. Everybody look at somebody and say, no more church. No more church. Church is what got us messed up. You understand? That's what got us messed up. What am I talking about today? A call to consciousness. Not just consciousness. What kind of consciousness? Yes, a call to Afrocentric consciousness. What is meant by the word Afrocentric or Afrocentricity? What is meant by that? Since the term Afro, a lot of times we say Afrocentric. No, Afro has to do with a hairstyle. Okay? And it's more accurate to say Afrocentric or Afrocentricity. When I say Afrocentricity, I mean that transforming power which helps us as Africans to capture the true sense of our souls. Our souls. Now, you need to understand something. In the soul is housed intellect, will, and emotion. That's where you have self-awareness. Most of us have lost our souls. And your soul is your mind. Most of us have lost our minds because we don't know our mind. We grew up with a lie. We grew up with a program that was anti-African. Do you follow what I'm saying? Okay? And we have to recapture the sense of our soul, who we are. We got to go back and get that. That's what the African village is all about. And this is what I call African-centeredness. Y'all see this right here? That picture is the front of the altar at the African village in St. Louis, Missouri. A lot of times people walk in the village and they see this right here. And they turn around and walk out. They say, oh, I'm in the wrong place. And the reason for that is because this symbol right here, the Ankh, okay, in most of our people's minds here in America, who've been raised as Christians, they have been taught that this is the sign of Satan. Christianity has taught that this symbol right here is the sign of Satan, so that you will know what it means. Okay? The top of the Ankh represents the womb of the woman. It's our ancient African symbol of life, eternal life. The bottom of the Ankh represents the male penis. Y'all getting this? Okay, here you have on the side, you have the ovary tubes, which produces the eggs that make life. When the male penis comes in contact with the womb of the female, a chemical reaction takes place. It's called ejaculation. When that sperm meets the eggs that comes from these ovaries right here, a baby is born. Life is created. Are y'all grabbing this? Yes. So the ancient Africans understood that this is a very sacred symbol, and it's life. Life comes from this union. There's nothing evil about that. The Christian church, the Roman Catholic Church, went into Africa and they saw this and understood the meaning of it, and because they got a problem with the female principle, they cemented. First they just chiseled out the womb altogether, put cement in it, and then put a tiny little line up there and created what we call the cross. Do you follow what I'm saying? Well, if the bottom of the ark represents the male penis, meaning the man, and then these Greco-Europeans put a little smaller one up top, now Pastor just broke that down to you. That's what agape is all about. Okay, so please understand, when you're wearing the cross, that's what you're wearing. When you hear of other organizations like Agape Christian Center, then you'll understand why the spirit of homosexuality is so strong in Christianity. Because in the mind of these twisted Europeans, agape is not a bad thing. Now you understand why Roman Catholic priests have no problem sodomizing little children. That's agape. So be proud of our symbol. Take that cross off. Get rid of it. And not only that, the cross was the old-fashioned electric chair. Yes. Think about it. The cross is what they hung people on. It was the instrument of execution. You wouldn't wear an electric chair around your neck. Right? Roll up your circle. Okay. Here we are consecrating an African village. Another one. Wow. This is deep, man. I think the reason why I just said wow is because when moments like these take place, I have flashbacks. I have flashbacks of when I first came into African consciousness, you know, back in the late 80s, you know, and when I had enough boldness to declare to the congregation that I had at that time that we are stepping into a comedic realm of thought now. But the only problem is I didn't have the experience of how to share it with sensitivity. And the very people who I had taught the gospel of Jesus Christ to are now hearing me say Jesus never existed. And without me taking them through the proper channels of how to bring them out of the lie that I taught them, they started freaking out. They started calling their loved ones. And their loved ones told them, you better run, you better get away from that man. Y'all remember Jim Jones, right? That's what people started telling them. You know, you need to run because we're in the last and evil days. And the Bible says in the last days, people are going to depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits. And ain't nothing as important as your soul, honey. I don't care how much you love that man. If he ain't preaching Jesus Christ, you better run! And in the space of about 30 days, man, a congregation of about 500 people dwindled down to about 25. Wow. You know, because I stopped preaching the program of Christianity. You see? It was so painful for me that I decided I'm never going to put myself in the position again to try to enlighten the minds of my people. I even came up with a term for it. I call it dedicated ignorance. You follow what I'm saying? Because people who love me, and I love them, okay, they just could not break away from the lie they grew up in. I remember my minister of music at the time, very dear friend of mine, very dear friend. He came to me, he said, PR, they call me PR for Pastor Ray. He said, PR, me and my family won't be coming here anymore. I said, why not, Wayne? He said, because we've never heard this stuff you're teaching. I said, I didn't either. But do me one favor, Wayne, before y'all leave. At least check out to see if what I'm saying is true. Just do that for me. He said, no, we don't even want no parts of it. You know, and it hurts, man, when your loved ones and friends say, I don't have nothing to do with this. And then when your own family, anybody know what I'm talking about? Can anybody relate to what I'm saying? Okay, so you know what I mean. My mother, the woman who raised me, stood up in her congregation and said, my son has become the Antichrist. Not an Antichrist, the Antichrist. In other words, Ray is the one the Bible talked about. That's what she was trying to tell everybody, okay? I'm the one that the Bible prophesied was coming. You know, like I had 666 on me somewhere. You know, it hurt, man, when my own mom wouldn't speak to me for 2 years. And I was tempted so many times to just, you know, take down, you know, and just go back to the program because it's a lot less painful. But God didn't wire me like that. You know, I'm one of those kind of people, man, that if I believe a thing and I come to know a thing, I don't care who don't like it. You understand? That's just the way it is. That's me. But God wired me like that. And after a period of complete abandonment by friends, family, loved ones, you name it, man, it was a very painful period for me. I was by myself, you know, and that's why I said, wow, when I said another one, because when I accepted the position in 1998, February 17th, in St. Louis, Missouri, to be the pastor of a traditional Baptist church, I did not mean for this to happen. You understand? I accepted that position only because I was lonely and I needed fellowship. You know, I was out there by myself, man, you know, and I told the congregation, I said, I'll accept the request to be y'all's pastor on one condition, and that's y'all are willing to learn. And they said, yeah, we want to learn. I said, okay. So I started serving as their pastor. You know, we wrote the Constitution and bylaws so they couldn't vote me out. Because see, I knew I was getting ready to say stuff that was outside of their circle. You follow what I'm saying? And see, Baptist churches are notorious for that, man. If you say something that they don't like, the officers will get together and vote you out. And that wasn't going to happen to me. If you're going to put me out, it's going to have to be for stealing money or something, which that ain't, I'm not going to do that, so I won't be leaving. You see what I'm saying? And what was a traditional Baptist church is now the African Village. And it's growing, as the pastor of church says, exponentially. I didn't plan for this. All I want to do is teach the truth. That's it. And the truth is like a magnet, man. Look at y'all here tonight. People are getting attracted to the truth. You understand what I'm saying? So don't be discouraged. Those of y'all who are going through this period of look like folk don't want to listen to you, don't be discouraged. Okay? Because the truth is a magnet. I like that. Everybody say the truth, is a magnet. It's a magnet. What is our mission? The African Village is an African-centered, scripture-based ministry of excellence whose purpose is to do what? What else? And what else? Thank you. Let's deal with those three things right there so you're clear on our assignment here. Evangelize. We have been so messed up by the church that we think that that word means to go spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. That's not what the word evangelize means. The word evangelize simply means to go take knowledge to those who don't know. Everybody say that. Evangelize means take knowledge to those who don't know. So you know what that means, family? That means every last one of you guys in here need to become equipped to become evangelists. You don't have to have a crowd in front of you. It can be on your job. It can be on the bus as you're riding. It can be as you're walking down the street. People you come in contact with. Drop seeds of knowledge on them. Say stuff to make them think. Now see, there's a difference between evangelize and proselytize. See, in the church, we were taught to go proselytize. That means go win people to your way of thinking. Go out there and win people to Christ. Make them accept what you're saying. That's not what we're about in the African Village. We're not trying to make nobody believe anything. We're just trying to drop knowledge on them. For example, and you've heard me say this 1,000 times, those of you heard me. When I say to a person, you know, if I say, they say Adam was the first person that ever lived. You know how I like to play with that? I said, well, if Adam was alive today, and you can have, all Christians will agree with this. If Adam was, not Christian, Muslims too. Hebrew Israelites, all of them. If Adam was alive today, the oldest he would be about 7,000 years old. There's a structure in Egypt called the Sphinx, Hagins. And Hagins is at least 18,000 years old. Now, if Adam was the first man ever made, according to your concept, then who built the Sphinx? You see? Now, what I just did is I just dropped a seed. I just dropped a seed in the fertile soil of their African mind. And like it or not, that seed is going to germinate. Yeah. They may reject what you said then, but trust me, they're going to think about that thing when they lay down that night. Now that is something to think about. And then when they get to work next, they're going to ask, have you ever heard of this thing called the Sphinx? Because it's messing with them. You see what I'm saying? That's how you drop seeds in people's minds. Got me? Okay. That's evangelize. Edify. What does edify mean? Edify means to build one another up. Are y'all grabbing me? This is what I'm saying here? To build one another up. Let's think of the word edifice. Edifice means a building, right? So to edify each other means to build one another up. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to be honest with you. It hurts so bad the way I see us who claim to practice ma'at, tearing each other down. That's not ma'at. Did y'all hear what I said? We need, that should not go on in the community. We should be about edifying each other, building each other up, not tearing one another down. And trust me, African Village here in Baltimore, those of you with the staff members who are standing up here, those who work with them, please, I charge you right now. In fact, we've already had to do it. Brother Asar called me about a situation. I said, deal with it, brother. Deal with it. You have to deal with cancer in a body. If you don't, the body will die. You understand? You either have to cut it out, okay, chemicalize it out, or irradiate it out. Either way, as long as you get rid of the cancer. We are working too hard to try to build a movement of United Africans to allow mess. Oh, I got to tell it, y'all. We cannot allow mess in the house. True. Deal with it. Maintain unity. And brothers and sisters, when y'all see somebody or hear somebody dropping seeds of discord for the sake of the body, y'all hear me? Yes. For the sake of the body, deal with it. Now I'm not saying hurt them. I see some people got that in. Let me be clear. But see, some people would deal with me, deal with it. I remember at the church I had in New Jersey, I shared the building with Muslims, and I let the brothers of the mosque, brothers and sisters of the mosque, use the upper level of the building. We had the main floor. And one night, this dude broke in and stole all of our sound equipment, So there was a sister out that was working the street that night, and she saw the brother and knew the brother. So the next day when I came in and saw everything stolen, I called the cops. And after the police left, the sister walked and she came over and she said, PR, I know who stole all of the equipment. And the brothers from the mosque were standing there with me. And they heard her say who stole it. So the brother said, Hakeem, you want us to deal with this? And I said, what you mean? He said, they didn't just steal from y'all, they stole from us. This is our place of fellowship and worship too. Okay? And we don't tolerate that in Islam. I said, well, brother, he was serious. I mean, I was just going to put in an insurance claim, you know what I'm saying, and get it all back. He said, no, brother, we don't tolerate that. I said, well, brother, listen, I don't want to know about it. Okay? That Tuesday, they found the brother who broke in our place, tied up in a basement with no hands. Yeah. And when they came back, I said, Hakeem, did y'all? He said, you don't want to hear it, Hakeem? He said, you don't want to hear it? I said, oh man. He said, you don't do that in Islam, brother. In Islam, you steal, you lose your hands. They dealt with it. Y'all, do y'all not know we didn't have to lock that church no more? That made a clear statement. This is not going to be tolerated here. Am I making sense, people? That's, if you want to maintain integrity within the village, you got to do that. Equip its members. That means to educate you. Not just intellectually, okay, but emotionally. Brother Assad the First. I was watching y'all tonight, brother. Thank you so much. That was beautiful, man. Tai Chi Chuan. How many of y'all know Tai? If you don't know Tai Chi, come learn it. Come learn it, man. It's not only good for you spiritually, good for you physically, it'll also help you take care of yourself too. Come learn it. And that's what the village is about, man. Teaching and developing ourselves. Through the knowledge of the truth to serve the community and to reach the world with the gospel of what? Liberation. Thank you. While striving to be compassionate in our love, excellent in our service, and reverently spirited in our worship. That's our mission as the African village. There's nothing about telling you what to think. We don't have doctrine. We have no doctrine in the African village. Okay? In fact, I was telling, I got to address this. Might as well address it while I'm here. I was talking to the African village, the headquarters, a few weeks ago. And I said, the African village is growing so fast. We got brothers and sisters coming from different backgrounds. We got brothers and sisters coming from Islam into the African village. We got brothers and sisters coming from Hebrew Israelitism into the village. We got brothers and sisters coming from the Wahabians are coming into the village. We got brothers and sisters coming from all backgrounds, man. And so one of the questions came, Brother Ray, what is this brother supposed to do about his wives? Y'all did hear me say wives, W-I-V-E-S, right? Now it's deep because one of the elders in the African village came from a strong Christian background. When I was explaining this, she was asleep. But when I said wise, she said, and her reaction was, okay, now I need to hear this because I need to know, do I need to get ready to leave? Because what you getting ready to say here, Pastor? You see? And that's again that control mechanism. Did y'all hear what I said? Yes. That's that control mechanism. So I said, and I put it on the floor. I said, what am I supposed to tell brothers and sisters who come from a background where they do practice polygyny? Am I supposed to say you can't be a member of the African village now? No, I'm not going to do that. Whether you like it or not. I'm not going to do that. You know why? The African village is not about telling people how they have to live their lives. You know what? That ain't my job. That was your mama's job. That was your daddy's job. If your parents didn't raise you to teach you the difference between right and wrong, and you now grown, Brother Ray can't help you. You follow what I'm saying? And Brother Ray is not going to try to enforce some doctrine that was created by white folk. Y'all don't like this here, and I didn't plan to say it, but I'm saying it. Go ahead. I am not here to enforce some European doctrine. We're here to bring unity in our community. Period. I'm waiting for you to clap. Okay, now see, I know how we are. Some of us are going to run out here and say, y'all, guess the African village is preaching polygamy now. See, you messed up already. You messed up because, again, we ain't trying to tell you how to live your life. What I mean by that, family, is simply this. Respect each other. You got me? So brothers and sisters are coming in and that's their way of life. Welcome to the African village. Welcome. Now I'm not going to say that the other brother is going to agree with you, but then that ain't what it's about. It's about us coming together as family and respecting our ways. Do y'all not know, I got to say this, do y'all not know that the divorce rate has increased in Africa almost 500% in the last 5 years?
Wow.
Did y'all hear what I said? I'm talking about civilizations and cultures that have existed fine for thousands of years. As a result of the Christianizing of Africa, now the divorce rate has increased almost 500% in the last few years because of a doctrine. Europeans going into our motherland telling people who have lived like this for the longest, you can't live like that no more if you want to see Jesus. Africans should have took both feet and placed them surgically upon the cheeks of the Europeans who came in trying to tell them to change their way of life. That is not what we're about, family. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Now believe me, what I'm saying is dangerous. You know why? Because programs have been put in place, man, by the United States government to prevent the unifying of black people. And they gave us these doctrines, they gave us these programs, they gave us these concepts to keep us divided. They don't have to divide us. The stuff they put in our heads keeps us divided from each other. I have met so many brothers that we could come together, man, and make something great happen. But you know what I hear? I hear after we sit down and talk about a vision or a goal or something we can accomplish, next thing out their mouth is, now do you believe in Jesus? And if I say, well, no, brother, I ain't a Christian. Well, no, brother, then we can't work together. Y'all grab what I'm saying? Yes. Look at somebody and say, that has to stop. I should be able to work with you because you are an African. Not because you believe what I believe or you think like me. I don't want you to think like me. You know why? Because you ain't me. True. If God wanted you to think like me, then he wouldn't have made you. Real simple. I can do my thinking. You have your own parameter of thought. Use it. Stop allowing yourself to be controlled by somebody's religious concepts and ideas and viewpoints. Look at somebody and say, you ain't got much longer to be here. So you got to make the best of it while you can. I'm serious, y'all. You know, you got to get this right. Get it right while you can. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
I don't know how I went into all that, man. I didn't mean to do that. One may ask, what is meant by African-centered? Why should Africa be at the center of our thinking? Well, doggone, brothers and sisters. What else should be at the center of the thinking of African people but Africa?
Yes.
Now, I know I got a lot of intellectuals coming into the movement. And they say, brother, why you calling it Africa? That wasn't the name of it. You need to call it Kush or Akibulan. Don't be calling it Africa. We ain't Africans. That's the kind of stuff keep us divided. Little senseless stuff like a meaning of a word. Now, why do I say Africans? Because I guarantee you, if you go out on the street and try to talk to somebody and share this knowledge with them and say, you need to return to Akibulan, they will have no idea what you're talking about.
That's right.
Fool, where? Return to what? Akibulan. Folk don't know where that is. What's more important? That you get a chance to intellectually masturbate, or that people understand what you mean? What's more important? If I know that within the parameters of your intellectual awareness, when I say Africa, you know I mean that big landmass on the other side of the Atlantic, then I'm going to say Africa. Am I making sense, people?
Yes.
See, that's the kind of stuff we got to get away from, man. We got to get away from, trying to impress people with our knowledge. That ain't important. I'd rather you have love in your heart one for another and have a third-grade education than to walk around memorizing The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. Great book, don't get me wrong, great book. But what is it if you memorize every word of that book and you can't even put your arms around a brother or sister that you see down? Am I making sense, y'all? Okay. What else should be at the center of the thinking of African people but Africa? African-centeredness resembles the black man and woman. It speaks to us. It looks like us. It wants for us what we want for ourselves. Therefore, it is necessary to place Africa at the center of our existential reality. Or else we will remain detached as we are. We will remain isolated. We will remain a spiritually lonely people in societies which constantly bombard us with what? Anti-African rhetoric and symbols, sometimes from Africans themselves who have been trained by the enemies of Africa. And it's nothing as bad as to see another brother, another sister who looks like you but talks like the enemy, who wants to keep us oppressed. The importance of having the right perspective. We must understand that the images, symbols, lifestyles, and manners of Africans in America are contradictory and are thereby destructive to the personal and collective growth and development of African people. All of the symbols that they gave you to grow up on, man, that's not us. Y'all hear what I'm saying? It's not us, man. Because we have the wrong perspective, we are unable to call upon the power available to us from the God of our ancestors. If you don't have the right perspective, you can't get your power. Everybody repeat after me. When you got wrong information, you can't make right decisions. And that's what we've been trying to do. We've been trying to make decisions based on what we've been taught, based on what's in our head. And if what's in your African mind is anti-African data, whatever decision you make is going to be antithetical to you. And that's got to change. We got to heal ourselves. We don't know our ancestors anymore as a people because you were taught not to call on them. Understand how deep this goes. You were taught not to call on your ancestors because that's voodoo. That's how the white folks see it. You were taught not to call on your ancestors because they call that witchcraft, calling forth the dead. In fact, in the Bible it says that you ain't to consult with familiar spirits and don't use divination and don't do that because that's the white man's way of keeping you from your power. They know your power.
Yes, they use it.
They can't do it like you can do it. It's natural for you. They have to take classes. Ain't that neat? They have to go to take classes in what comes to you naturally. All you have to do is just be still and be. They look at you in amazement. They look at our little children in amazement. Because our little children can sing and they dance, and our white folk look at our little children. Well, where did he learn that? What school did you send him to do that? No school. It's in us. It's our nature to be great. We don't call on our ancestors because we don't know them, but it's really deep. You were all taught to call on European ancestors. Oh yeah, you didn't get out of school until you knew their ancestors. It was called history class. And then you had to pass tests. Who was the first president of the United States of America? And you lied on that one. You said George Washington. He wasn't the first president. How about John Hanson? That's who the first president was. A black man. See? We have been deracinated. Deracinated, family, means cut off. We've been cut off and without an ideology of our own heritage. How did we get to such an off-centered perspective? How did that happen? How did we get messed up like this as a people? Through psychosocial engineering. That's how it happened. In other words, there are people who have their job is to simply make sure that you get misdirected, that you get misinformed, that our children don't have right knowledge. That's their job. That's their assignment. How many of you guys have ever heard of Tavistock Institute? What? No. Oh my God. Write this down. Please write this down. Please write this down. The Tavistock Institute. It's spelled T-A-V-I-S-T-O-C-K. The Tavistock Institute. Please look that up so that you can see. The Tavistock Institute is a front for the Central Intelligence Agency. Understand this, family. Is a front for the Central Intelligence Agency, and their staff is composed of psychologists who are all psycho-engineers, social engineers. Understand how this works. What they do all day long is they sit around and come up with norms. That's what they call it. Come up with norms for urban America. The Tavistock Institute. Pull it up and it'll tell you right there. That's their job. They come up with norms for urban America. In other words, the whole thing, y'all, I'm getting ready, hold your circle up, hold your circle up. The whole concept of brothers, y'all wearing your pants down below your butt cheeks, that came from Tavistock Institute. The whole concept, brother, of you, is my hat cover over here? Let me reach over there and grab my hat. It's somewhere in my coat. I want to just demonstrate what I'm talking about. Tell you what, say something. Let me park the cover right quick. That's okay, sweetheart. Here you go. Now, when you see a brother with his hat on like that, ask him, is that your idea? Think. You want to see, why are you taking a picture of me with his hat on? When you see a brother with his hat on like this, or like this, ask him, is that your idea? And if he would be honest with you, he will say, no, it's not. Because he saw somebody else do this. You follow what I'm saying? And if you have to do what you've seen somebody else do, thank you, brother. If you have to do what you've seen somebody else do, then that means that they are controlling your thinking at that time. And it's time for it to stop. You follow what I'm saying? I saw a young brother with his pants hanging down. I mean, he was really down, really down. It was down so bad he was walking with his legs wide, like this. Trying to hold him up. It looked so funny to me. And I said, I didn't want to go off on him or embarrass him. And the best thing I knew to do was challenge. I said, brother, I started to say, man, pull your pants up, man. Stop embarrassing me. But that's not what came out. What came out was, brother, where did you get that idea from? And it made him think. He knew he didn't come up with that idea. I said, brother, don't let other people control you like that. And it really, it made me feel so good because he thought, I could see it on his face like, you know what, I am doing what I've seen somebody else do. I'm a man, I shouldn't be doing that. And he pulled them up and walked away. I don't know if they're going to stay up, but you know. It made him think. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. The Tavistock Institute put all these norms in the black community to distract you. Because first of all, they know that if that's your presentation, chances are you are not going to succeed in corporate America.
Yes.
Now you say, well, I'm a black man, I don't want to succeed in corporate America. Okay, take away the word corporate. How about succeeding in America, period? And don't tell me you can't do it. Because the genius that's in you is enough. You know, Brother Muhammad and I, we were just talking today on his show about Barack talking about jobs and stuff. Let me tell y'all something. For those who ain't got no job, they ain't gonna make no more for you. They're not gonna make any more for you. You know why? It ain't about you. You don't fit into their equation. Period. That's why the condition in Haiti right now is like it is. Not to mention the cause of the earthquake in the first place. It ain't about black people anymore. The agenda is to get rid of us. Don't take my word for what I'm saying. Pull up the document. Write it down. Not hold up your circle, because I know a lot of y'all won't hear your preacher talk like this. Write it down. NSC 200. National Security Council Memorandum 200. Not 46 this time. 200. If you pull up that document, you will see that the United States has decided, the United States, maybe United Snakes, I should say, whatever word you want to use. This government of this country right here has decided that by the year 2050, what year did I say? By the year 2050, y'all, that's 40 more years. That 75% of the world's non-white population has to be eliminated by 2050. How are they going to do it? Think, brothers and sisters. And stop looking for a savior to come rescue you, please. Please. See, I know you did that because you were taught to do that. See, they put that savior, I gotta tell it like it is. They put that savior mentality in us so bad that we don't do for ourselves anymore. You know, because they told us that a savior is coming. Y'all not know, based on what I was taught, I ain't supposed to be a grandfather. I was taught when I was 4 years old that Jesus is on his way back.
Yeah.
Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Can anybody relate to what I'm saying? Okay, when I was 4, that was 52 years ago, my great-grandmother said, Jesus is on his way back. I should have known something the next year. I should have known something was wrong with that the next year, and he still hadn't gotten there. I should have known then, but it's like, you know not the day nor the hour. But be ye also ready. Because he's coming like a thief in the night. You see, and that was the concept that we had in our head. Understand how deep this goes. You don't even realize that kind of thinking is one of the major reasons why we have premature pregnancy. Young people that are not doing good in school, they have no goals. They don't have a future to look forward to because we snatched it away from them. Telling them that Jesus is on his way back any day now. So if he's coming any day, ain't no need to be going to college.
True that.
Do y'all understand how this works? Understand the psychology here. Y'all all right? Understand how this works. Why should I prepare for a future if you're telling me I ain't got none, Grandma? I was not the parent that I should have been. You know why? The church didn't prepare me for parenthood. Understand this, man. I wasn't supposed to be no granddaddy. The church didn't tell me about. I spent most of my life in the church. Only thing they told me I was going to heaven. If I live right. That's what they say, if you live right. Oh, you know it right, dude. Yeah. So you see what I'm saying? So brothers and sisters, the African village cannot continue to make that mistake. We cannot allow these young people that you saw here to think that they have no future. We have to start putting it in their heads right now to start making their future. Because as I said, the government ain't got no jobs for you. What time is it? Okay. Let me do this. Let me do this, because I ain't gonna get to go through all this. Let me just talk to you guys here. Let me do this. How many of y'all in here can cook? Let me show you what I'm talking about. Look at the hands. Look at the hands. Look at the hands. Wow. Now I mean really cook now. I don't mean you can take care of yourself. I mean you can really cook. If you can cook that well, why are you waiting for them to give you a job? Making sense?
Yeah.
Why are you waiting for them to give you a job if you can cook that well? We got brothers and sisters, brothers especially here who are carpenters or woodworkers by nature. You didn't have to go to school for it. You see something in your mind and you can make it. Okay? Why can't you take your woodworking skill and make things to put on the internet and sell it instead of waiting for them to give you a job? And if you need an internet website to do it, you can use mine until you get yours. Why can't you do that? Why do you have to keep waiting for them? You know, that's that mentality they've been given to us, man. Waiting for a savior to come. Even in the movie Avatar, as powerful as that movie was, it still had to be a white man who became a native to save them. Can't we save ourselves? Can't we save us? We want a savior. It don't matter. It can be Jesus or Obama. It doesn't matter as long as the savior comes. And if you notice, let's be honest with you, since Obama been the president, a lot of black folks stopped talking about Jesus. They really have. It ain't about Jesus. You know why? Because we got a black man in the, got so distracted by the fact that you got a chocolate man in the office of Washington, D.C. that you done lost sight on Jesus now, because we got a real Savior now who's here. Be like the lady, I don't know how many of y'all heard the thing on the internet about they going to repossess her car. Did y'all hear that? They're going to repossess her car, and she went off on the man, the repo man, talking about, that's all right, things going to be different for us now, because we got Obama. What they got to do with her car payment, man? But she thinks it's going to be better, Those whose purpose it was for us to live in a necrotypical state. Necro, by the way, everybody say necro. Necro is Latin for dead. Okay? So a necrotypical state means the living dead or walking around dead. Okay? A necrotypical state gave us a cognitive reality that permeates itself by reaching for what cannot be attained. You lost that. I'll do it again. Those whose purpose it was for us to live in a necrotypical state, meaning walking around dead, gave us a cognitive reality. What do I mean by cognitive? Your belief system, what you hold in your head. That's what's cognitive. And what's deep about it is, you've been taught that it's real even though it's not real. You got me? So you're believing in what is not real. And because you believe in what's not real, it's causing you to reach for something you'll never attain. How you going to attain it if it ain't real? But you believe it's real. And because it ain't come yet, you know what Rev told you? Rev told you this. Rev told you, honey, you got to have more faith. According to your faith, be it unto you. Come on, people. That's why we have hope. Hope! 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 We used to sing it. My hope is built on what else? Nothing. Y'all know it. And Jesus' blood and righteousness. Man, my hope. Look at somebody next to you and say, hope never comes. You all right, sister? Hello? You looking at me? Sister, her eyebrows are way up here. Hope never comes. You know why, people? If hope comes, you won't have hope no more. You can only hope for what you don't have. You got me? And for most of us, hope is enough. All you got to tell us is, if this was church, I could get the organ playing. Brother, give me a little music over there. Give me a little music. Not for real, I'm just saying, Play something soft. Play something soft. God has told me that there's 25 folk here that's waiting for a blessing from God. I see angels in the room. Come on, get in this line. Come on, get in this line right now. You want a blessing from God? Come on, get in this line right now. Sound familiar? Sound familiar? She's looking at me like, you see the look on her face like, did you believe it right now? I did this for 25 years, girl. I'm trying to tell you, come get in this line right now. And while you come into the line, musician, I'm going to sing, something good is going to happen. Oh, you know that too? Now see the psychosis. I'm hypnotizing you. I done told you something good is going to happen to you. And so you get up out your seat, you start walking down this aisle. is already done. So you've come to the, came down this whole aisle. And you standing there. Now mind you, you're already excited. You're hyperventilating already, which means you're already getting lightheaded, right? Your eyes are closed, which means you're starting to lose your equilibrium at this point. You stand there like this here. Oh God. Hallelujah. 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 You start, you follow what I'm saying? You see this picture that's happening here? Okay? And then I tell you, baby, God told me to tell you, your miracle is going to happen this week. That's all I got to say. She's gone. I've seen it too. And they'll forget all that and they say, now before we go, there are 100 people in here right now. Come on, right now, 100 people got $100 in your hand. $100 in your hand. Get it right now. Stand with your $100. Stand with your $100. That's what I see you. 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 Now get in that aisle. Come on down that aisle. Come on down that aisle. Y'all see the game? And we fall for it over something called hope. And after that fool, that gangster wearing a cross, got your money and gone, and you done hit that cold air outside and cooled off, you realize that tomorrow and next week and next month and next year, all you still got is hope. And it's time for that to stop. Ashe? Our culture was replaced with another culture's religion. That's not us, and we've been cut off from the truth about ourselves ever since. It's imperative that we identify the path of our predicament and remove it from us in order for us to be restored. Get their way out of us. Yes. Get their way out of us. Okay? Spirituality is African-centered. Religion is not. The stratagem used to get us away from our center was the eradication of our spiritual systems and replacing it with religion. Okay? Wow. Religion can be defined as the cultural, psycho-philosophical vehicle of spiritual and intellectual enslavement that does three things. Number one, the cultural and racial superiority of the people who created it. Yes. The paralysis of analysis of those who believe in it, which means you stop thinking. And the perpetual empowerment of the agenda created by it. In other words, the agenda that they put it in place in the first place is constantly being fed because you believe it. Yes. Y'all hear what I'm saying? What is spirituality? It may be defined as the existential relationship of a cosmological person, meaning black people, to their cosmological reality. It's personal, intuitive, individualistically unique. And that's why I said earlier that the African village is not about trying to tell people how to live their lives. You know how to do that already. Can I get a witness? Yes. You know how to do that already. Now, I grant you, some of us might need some help. Okay, some of us might need some personal development. So that's where we will have classes and workshops to help you develop in certain areas. Okay? But there's a voice inside you that tells you yay or nay. You don't need my voice to tell you that. When you get ready to step into an area that you ain't got no business in, that voice inside you will say, don't do that. When you get ready to say something you know is wrong to say, that voice inside you will say, don't do that. But it's not going to grab you by the throat now and make you. You have to choose to hear that voice. Am I making sense? Yes. Now here's the deep thing about it. The voice may say something to you that it does not say to me. Right what I'm saying now. Let me use an analogy. The voice may tell you that you can't have a glass of wine.
Okay.
You gonna get some wine. The voice says, you don't need to do that. No, don't do that. Nope. And the voice is telling you that because what happens when you drink wine, you just get stupid. You see what I'm saying? But now if I get ready to have a glass of wine and I don't hear that voice, because you get condemned when you drink it, don't say I'm wrong.
True.
And see, that's what we try to do. You know you ain't got no business drinking. No, you ain't got no business drinking. Don't tell me what I ain't got no business doing, because you ain't got no business doing. Y'all, am I making sense? I told you, y'all, it's individually unique. It's personal. The relationship between you and the Almighty is personal. It's not collective. It's not corporate. You have a relationship with the Almighty. I don't understand it. I ain't trying to. I'm trying to have my own relationship with the Almighty. Okay? Yeah, man. It's not defined or regulated by someone else or any religious organization, belief, or doctrinal statement. That's what the African village is all about. Learn to live according to this, and I must stop because I'm running out of time. Learn to live according to this right here. You see this diagram I have in the middle? Spirit, intuition, communion, conscience. That's where the voice speaks that I was just talking about. In there, okay? In your soul you have intellect. Most of us confuse intellect with intuition. Intellect is based on information that you've already been fed or taught. Intuition does not need any data in it to operate. Got me? Okay, when you make decisions based on intellect, that's because you found out some data, some information to help you make a different decision. Okay? And it's deep because sometimes your spirit and your intuition, your spirit will tell you no. Just clear, just like that. No. And you know what you'll do? You'll take your intellect and go to war with your intuition. And say, why not? When your spirit tells you no, don't say, why not? Because you're going to find a way to intellectualize around the leading of your spirit, and trust me, whenever you do that, you're going to wish you hadn't later. Y'all hear me? Okay, brothers and sisters, there's so much here for me to share, and we started late. I don't want to hold you guys any longer. I'm trying to see if there's something here that I just must say before I let you guys go. Okay, it is impossible for the African mind to experience liberation without first dealing with the psychosis of religion. Okay? What is the psychosis of religion? A psychosis is the severe mental condition of a person at a specific moment in which that person loses contact with reality. And religion has caused us to do that. And until we get rid of religion, period. Until we get rid of religion, we're not going to liberate ourselves. Because religion is going to always control you and tell you what to think. Therefore, the psychosis of religion is when a person who, as a result of the religious teachings, beliefs, influences, indoctrination of their religious group or organization, loses contact with reality. Why? When does this begin? Now check this out. When does this psychosis of religion begin? Right here. That's when it's an African child. She's being taught by a white girl. And what's the word she's writing? You see the programming. Now what's deep is, as this little girl grows up getting it, now right now it's not making any sense to her. At this point right now it makes no sense to her, believe me. But she's going to keep believing it and believing it and believing it and believing it until after a while, when she gets a little older. Look at this. Why is it that we are the only race of people on the planet whose Savior don't look like us? How you gonna have a little boy that black with a big old picture of a white Savior hanging off his neck? Can you understand the psychology behind this? So when these children are indoctrinated with this stuff right here, we grow up to do that. You see, here you have these black folk, and this sister dressed up in African attire. And look at her spiritual leader. Standing there calling, Father.
Oh.
Y'all recognize, I used to know that dude right there. That was back in the day. That was back in the day there, boy. I was making good money. Keeping our people enslaved, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ with authority, with power. Yes, I was. Man, look at it. I am so glad that the ancestors rescued me from that mess I don't know. But let's not become black Anglo-Saxons. All right? Look at this. That's the device they put over. Look at these African warriors. Look who's teaching them. Look at this. Something's wrong with that picture. Can y'all see what's wrong with that picture? When you got an African family going to a non-African spiritual leader? Come on, people. Look. She made that cross and put up there. Now, I don't mean to make, I'm not trying to make fun of our sister. I want you to see our conviction. God is not the author of confusion. Religion is. And that's why the African village has to put a stop to it. Leave your religion outside. If you want to come fellowship with us, and all are welcome. Okay? But leave your religion away as we heal ourselves and empower us for our work tomorrow. Family, I love you. I must stop. Thank you so much. Let's do the work. Let's do the work.